Guys, where will we see the Kingpin next in the MCU? Rob and I are talking about it. Welcome back to the Jersey Comic Crew. And we need to discuss the ending of episode 6 of Hawkeye, as well as what the future holds. Because, spoiler alert, I don't think Kingpin is dead at all, Rob. Never trust a death you don't see on screen. Oh, my
goodness. The fact that we're even teasing about him being dying is just Marvel slapping us in the face.
It is a slap in the face, and I don't like it.
Pulls the gun, bam! We don't see anything. We saw him take an arrow to the chest, all this other stuff.
Yeah!
If he gets shot in the chest, he's going to be alive. If she just shoots the floor and falls down crying because she doesn't know how to handle this, I can see that. If he grabs, I think he grabs the gun and it shoots his hand and like nothing happens, and we kind of see he's getting to be bulletproof. I don't even know if he's bulletproof. I don't think so. I think he actually takes bullets in the comics. I don't recall him ever being bulletproof in any story.
He'll take bullets. It just won't do as much damage as it would to like us normal meat sacks.
Because he's the big meat sack. He's the tough meat sack.
He is the meat sack. Yes, he's frozen.
But again, I reiterate, Marvel doing this is just to insult our intelligence and make us feel bad. Like, we've been waiting about him being in this, and now you're telling me he might be dead? Shame on you, Marvel. Kevin Feige, you know what you're doing.
And it wasn't just a slap in the face like, you know, Kate slapping you later and going, I don't know why I did this. Like, they have a reason for it, right? Yeah. Like, it's for some reason, whether it's we're going to wait to see him in the Echo TV show, which I can't see how we don't at this point.
Yeah, of course.
I don't think it's just going to be flashbacks with him, though. Like, I don't think it's just going to be, oh, we're going to keep up the ruse that he may not be alive anymore, and we're just going to see him in flashbacks as she's growing up and kind of the manipulation and the horror stuff that he did to her. And there's no way he's dead. I'm just wondering, Rob, where do you think the next focal point will be for him in the MCU? Okay. Is it going to be Echo or something sooner?
So, it's hard for me not to say we're not going to see him in something sooner. And not necessarily something that's been announced. I'm sure they have something in the wing that they're going to surprise us in. Moon Knight, I know, is coming up pretty soon. She-Hulk and stuff like this. I think we can see him again in those things. But also at the same point, you can see Matt again in those, right? You can see Daredevil coming back and that kind of stuff. And that still kind of counts as a Kingpin sighting because it's in the same bubble, right? The same universe. I think it's going to be an unannounced property that's going to come back, Daredevil season 4, and I think that's going to happen before the Echo show.
I like the Daredevil side. I don't know if it's going to be season 4 or just season 1 in the MCU. I don't know how they're going to connect the stuff. There wasn't anything, as much as I was so happy to see Kingpin on the screen, there wasn't anything in my mind that I could see that connected anything to the Netflix series besides it was Vincent D'Onofrio portraying the Kingpin.
Fair.
And I don't know if that's going to connect to anything directly to what we saw on Netflix. I think it's just going to be like, nope, we're keeping the same actors, but we're starting fresh in our streaming service with our money.
You see, I get that. And technically, like, let's say it's different multiverse, right? And the me in this universe could look the same as me in another one, right? So if you keep the same people and then you're starting from square one, I see Marvel's reasoning to do that. I just think that Netflix did such a good job on so many of those shows. It doesn't make sense to do that because you're starting on the back foot. And when Marvel's already at this pace where we're getting crossovers, we're doing all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. The groundwork's already been laid. Let's take that and run with it. That's why I think they're going to take Kingpin and run with it.
I agree with you 100% on what you just said.
Okay.
My worry is the darkness and the brutality of those shows are not going to surface the way people might think they will with the Disney stuff. And we've already kind of seen that with the way we were talking about back in our review, right? The way he fought Kate Bishop, the way
I get that.
You said it was, he seemed like he was holding back a little more. I don't know if we're going to get that same, like, dude slamming guys' heads in doors until they turn into mush stuff that we saw on Netflix.
I think we can because, like, I know we're getting all those the darkest properties, right? We're getting Blade, maybe Midnight Suns, all this kind of evil magic stuff. But spoilers for Spider-Man real quick. The fight he had with Goblin was brutal. Like,
absolutely.
Those punches to the face, they weren't pulling punches. The depths in that, like the weight of that, the darkness in that.
Yeah.
For being a Spider-Man film, right? And that's like generally lighter because it's Spider-Man. In a Marvel lens, in a Daredevil lens, could be just the same as Netflix. So I don't think we have to worry about that. I think right now we have to worry about when are we going to see Kingpin and what's going to happen next.
I think there's a couple shows we could see him in. I think She-Hulk is a big one.
Yeah.
I think She-Hulk could be a massive kind of the back end lost stuff that we don't see, the legal side of the Marvel Universe, which is another kind of avenue that they're putting in. I think Moon Knight seems to be that show that's going to be like Daredevil, where it's brutal and the fights are like, there's that shot of him in the bathroom just wailing on a guy.
Yeah.
That to me is right up Kingpin's alley, right up Daredevil's alley. And obviously maybe in a future Spider-Man film, which I think would be fantastic, or a future Daredevil show. But there's one I wanted to talk to you about specifically, Rob.
Yeah.
That I keep circling in my head, and that's Secret Invasion.
Okay.
I feel like for that show, there's going to be a bubble that bursts when the knowledge of Skrulls on Earth becomes widespread. I wonder if the Kingpin is going to find out, and he's going to hold that like at almost like at someone's throat as a form of power grabbing in the Marvel Universe while the chaos is ensuing with the Skrulls.
I can see that. I just think that the Secret Invasion show is not going to be anywhere near as big as it's going to be in the comics. I think it's going to be super. I think it's going to, no, not even that. Like, I don't even think it's going to mean anything for like the people we know. I think it's going to be super isolated into like the Shield, Sword people, Nick Fury, Captain Marvel. I honestly don't think it's going to be like, oh, this person was fake the whole time. I mean, they already did that with Nick Fury. I think it's going to be super isolated, and it's not going to have this. I think the impact it's going to have on the MCU is going to be very minimal, if any at all. I think it's
going to be like random people on Earth?
I think it's going to be random people on Earth, and I think it's just going to promote the outer space kind of universe that they're trying desperately to build, which has always been like the weakest part of the Marvel comics, right? Yep. I think it's that. I think it has nothing to do with Kingpin, and he might be using one person, be like, oh, I know your husband was a Skrull this whole time. Now I'm going to take it. I think it's going to be a throwaway line in this main kind of stuff.
I wonder if he's going to be in it as like a background, like not the main antagonist, but as like the background guy who's building up power for when we see him next, right? Like, because they could totally do that if he's going to be this guy who, right now it seems like he's going to be in these Disney Plus shows, right? Like he's going to show up sporadically in Disney Plus Marvel properties. I don't know if we'll see him in a movie, hopefully in maybe one of the 3 Spider-Man movies they're doing again. So I could see him possibly being some type of a player, grabbing a little more power, grabbing a little more territory in this Secret Invasion when it's chaos ensuing. I don't know. I think there has to be one person in Secret Invasion that's a Skrull that is a big shock value personally, but I don't think it should be everyone.
I see where you're coming from, but Kingpin as a character kind of has this ability, this adaptability, right? This flexibility to be able to be in any Marvel property because of this strength, this power set that's not just physical and, you know, meta-human ability wise, right? This political thing. He could be in any show anywhere, and I think that's kind of why we're circling, because we want more information. We got to know what Kingpin is. But more importantly, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Where do you think Kingpin is going to show his face next in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like, really helps the channel out a lot. And if you do subscribe, turn on those notifications. You don't miss any more of our talk. We still have some more to talk about Hawkeye. We are not done with Hawkeye yet. And if you missed anything, make sure you check it out on the channel here. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That's Rob Moran. We're the Chris Comic Crew, and we'll see you next time.